摸下有屁還多。
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Katie. In the evening of May 12th, a remarkable incident unfolded in the city of Chengdu, southwestern China. A young man who appeared to be drunk reached out to feel the metal skin of a high-end Jeep as it was stopped on the street. This angered the owner so much that she stepped out, slapped the man in the face, and demanded that he pay the equivalent of $1,400 as compensation, since her Jeep cost $140,000. The situation escalated as the old woman wouldn't let the man who touched her Jeep go. She hurled a variety of insults at him, such as "you good-for-nothing bum" and "peasant worker." The old lady even claimed, "My son is the mayor." Hearing the commotion, a crowd began to gather around the Jeep, and some onlookers live-streamed the event. The area where the incident happened was the bustling Changdu Street, and soon there were hundreds of people. The Jeep owner's identity has not been confirmed. However, Chinese social media users and YouTubers noticed that just a few minutes after she made a phone call, a horde of police officers arrived on the scene. The recent incident in Chengdu is just the latest viral event to spark widespread anger among the Chinese people. In mainland China, officials and other people with connections to the Communist Party are above the law. While they're supposed to serve the people, in reality, they expect the people to serve them. There's no way of knowing whether the old lady sitting in the Jeep was really the mother of Chengdu's mayor. However, her actions and the speed in which the police came to her aid suggest that she's not just a random senior citizen with a luxury vehicle. Many people commenting on the incident likened it to a famous case known as the Ligang scandal. In 2011, a young man driving drunk hit a pair of female college students in the city of Baoding, Hebei province. Both of the young women were injured, and one later died. When police stopped the driver, instead of apologizing or admitting his mistake, he complained that his car got scratched and yelled, "You can try to sue me, but my dad is Li Gang." As it turned out, Li Gang was the deputy chief of public security in Baoding. Despite the Chinese Communist Party's efforts to suppress the news, its censorship was not as well developed as it is today, and Li Gang incident became widespread knowledge. Eventually, both Li Gang's son and Li Gang himself were forced to apologize, and the son was sentenced to 6 years in prison. "My dad is Li Gang" became an infamous internet meme and a lasting symbol of official corruption. Abuse of power is common and even expected from Chinese officials. Incidents like the Li Gang scandal and the recent case with the old woman in Chengdu are not rare or isolated events. The message to the ordinary people is clear. In China under communism, you are nothing without power and status. This incident itself is already infuriating enough. To make things worse, the authorities responded to the Jeep incident in Chengdu by changing the story. On May 13th, the day after the confrontation, the Chengdu police issued a notice. It claimed that the news about the young men being asked to pay compensation for touching the Jeep was a fake rumor. The notice from the local Public Security Bureau reads, after questioning the parties involved, questioning witnesses, and reviewing surveillance footage, it was determined that at 4:16 p.m., a person surnamed Zhang, who was drunk, touched and struck a black Jeep stopped on the side of Changdu Street. After this, the police claimed that the old woman, surnamed Luo, inspected her vehicle and found scratches on the fender. Zhang kept walking forward, but Luo caught up to him at an intersection. Here, instead of extorting him for money, the Public Security Bureau claims that Ms. Luo only demanded an apology. This, the notice says, led to a verbal altercation and mutual accusations and insults, which escalated into a physical confrontation. The police acknowledged that a large crowd gathered at the scene, but instead of explaining why, it simply stated that this got in the way of their duties. The police further claimed that Zhang and Luo reconciled after discussion and signed a police mediation agreement. Furthermore, regarding the online rumors about Ms. Luo being the relative of a mayor and demanding compensation of $1,400 and the release of individuals at the scene, These claims have been investigated and found to be untrue. Zhang and another individual surnamed Rao were detained for spreading this so-called false rumor. This official explanation is completely inconsistent with what was not only seen, but also recorded at the scene of Changrong Street. Many online comments also expressed disapproval with the police response and demanded that they come clean about what actually happened. One typical comment says, "I hope law enforcement surveillance footage can be released. Don't cherry pick anything and provide all the relevant video from police cameras, on-street surveillance, and so on. Didn't the police say they checked the security footage?" Another internet user questions the response of the Chengdu police. In a typical dispute like this, it usually only requires one police car and 2 officers to handle. Why were there so many police cars, and why were there officers in plain clothes? Indeed, the skill of the police reaction was very unusual. After Luo made a single phone call, a large group of police officers arrived in just 6 minutes and formed a barrier around her car. If this were a typical traffic dispute between ordinary citizens, only 1 or 2 officers would be needed to handle the incident. Also, there was no police station near the place where the incident occurred, making the officers' reaction time even more surprising. Chinese police are notorious for being slow and unreliable in cases when actual crimes are in progress. For instance, in June 2022, a shocking incident occurred in the city of Tangshan, Hebei province. A gang of men harassed and savagely beat 4 young women in a restaurant. 2 of the women were dragged out onto the sidewalk by their hair and suffered severe injuries during the assault. One was rumored to have died. There was a police station just 800 meters from the restaurant, but in this case, it took the officers 3 hours to arrive, well after the men had left. Without seeing these incidents up close and in real time, it's hard for outsiders to imagine or understand the abuse of power that goes on in China today. It's no exaggeration to say that events like the Chengdu Jeep incident or the Ligang scandal happen on a regular basis. It's just that most of them are quietly swept under the rug and never see the light of day. This time, the scene was widely witnessed and recorded. Yet the regime still managed to suppress the facts and pretend nothing happened. That's all for today's video. If you would like to know more about today's China, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.